Just check. Once I'll give my mobile phone. Okay. In my mobile phone. Got it. Hello friends. Hi. Got anything there? Okay. Good evening, friends. So this is day two of this combined defense service revision classes. Yesterday we have revised modern Indian history. Okay, a half of modern Indian history, and we were from 1757 till the formation of Indian National Congress, that is 1885. Before we go into the class again, let us have an important message. It is like for you candidate, those who are preparing for CDS and AFCAT and all other examination. This January 25, 2020 and January 26, 2020, we are going to have 2 days of revision classes completely free of cost. You can register your name in number 7598486430. You can just type in your name and which exam you are trying for, and you can come and drop in for these revision classes. Okay. Now let us give an important like revise little bit. Yesterday we saw what is the importance of modern Indian history, ancient history, medieval history, and modern history. Luckily, in combined defense service examination, they don't ask much questions from American Revolution, Russian Revolution, and French Revolution. But there was a question asked about some leaders from all the three revolutions. They had asked to find the odd one out. Okay, let us begin the classes here. The beginning we saw yesterday, the 1757 that is called as Battle of Plassey. Then we saw 1764 that is Battle of Buxar. Then we saw 1773 Warren Hastings becomes the Governor General. Then we saw 1806 Velur Mutiny. And then 1848 we saw Doctrine of Lapse introduced by Lord Dalhousie. And then 1853 we saw the railways to be introduced and all other telegraph and all other systems. 1857, these dates like in the month of March 1857, Sepoy Mangal Pandey from Barakpur regiment revolted and he killed his senior officer. And then we saw 9th of May 1857, 9th of May 1857, that some sepoys in Meerut, okay, a place called as Meerut, they break open the jail and they create a revolution. Then we have 10th of May 1857. 10th of May 1857, the revolt took place and Bahadur Shah Zafar, the last Mughal emperor, he becomes the emperor and he is the like a leading person in this revolt. Then you have General Bhagat Khan and all those people. Fine. Then slowly the suppression, what happens with the I have discussed, you can just go and watch the previous video. I have discussed what are the reasons for the soldiers to be getting angry, what are the reasons for the ministers to be unhappy, what are the reasons that kings are being unhappy due to this doctrine of lapse. There were so many reasons I have told you. Satara was the first place to be annexed by doctrine of lapse. Okay, and then we saw the aftermath of this 1857 revolt, that is 1858. We have Queen's Proclamation. 1858, we have Queen's Proclamation. And here we have someone called a lord called as Lord Canning. There is a person called as Lord Canning. He was the first viceroy. He was the first viceroy. Okay. Then we saw 1885. What happens in 1885? Alan Octavian Hume, he gives an idea. Okay, Alan Octavian Hume, he gives an idea to the formation of Indian National Congress and plenty other things we saw. Like who was the first person? Vyomesh Chandra Banerjee. Okay, Vyomesh Chandra Banerjee. He was the first president of Indian National Congress, and then we saw a theory called as safety valve theory. Okay, safety valve theory. So this was discussed yesterday's classes. Okay, now here the first session of the Indian National Congress took place in Bombay. These kind of questions are very expected question. Where was the first Indian National Congress held? The meeting held in a village. These kind of questions will be asked. So let us begin today's class with the formation of Indian National Congress. Lord Dufferin. Lord Dufferin was the Governor General or Viceroy of India during the formation of Indian National Congress. During the formation of Indian National Congress, Okay, this is the type of question here. Who was the Lord? Who was the Viceroy? Okay, this kind of question they ask. Fine. Now, after this, what happens? There are some strategies followed by Indian National Congress leaders, and they follow a method called as PPP: prayer, petition, and protest. Prayer, petition, and protest. What happened here? Here, imagine this is Indians. Okay, here there is Indian, and here we have a person Viceroy, and now here we have the Britain Queen. The Indian National Congress leaders, they believe that the Viceroy is giving misinformation to the Queen, and that is the reason why Queen is unaware of the situation. So first they will pray. Okay, they will pray in the sense they will give a request that so and so things are not there. They want so and so right, something like that. If this has been unheard, then they will file a petition, and even if the petition fails, then they go for protest. This was the situation from the formation of the Indian National Congress in 1885. Slowly, what happens? There is rising violence and extremism in places of Punjab and Bengal. And here comes a very important phase in modern Indian history, that is in the year 1905. In the year 1905, this was a black day in Indian history because 1905 British government, they decided they are going to split the Bengal into two. Okay, split the Bengal into two. Okay, friends. Now here I told you there are three provinces, and I'm going to focus on the Bengal province here. Suppose if I divide this Bengal province, okay, this is East Bengal and this is the western part of the Bengal. The main idea, the hidden goal of the Britishers was to divide the Bengal into Hindus and Muslims. Caste Hindus on the western side of the Bengal and caste Muslims in the eastern side of the Bengal. Now, in order to convince the public or in order to convince the Indian citizens, Britishers came with an idea. They told that the administrative work of this Bengal is getting day by day more difficult, so they are going to divide this Bengal for administrative purpose. Okay, very important. They divided India. They were telling that they want to divide due to administrative purpose. But the real motive behind them was to have hatredness to divide and rule India. And in 1905, they went ahead with this decision. On one side, Indian National Congress, they were unable to stop this, and this event of splitting the Bengal into two happens in 1905. So here what happens? People were very sad. People all over Bengal, they were like in shock, and they took a holy dip in holy rivers like Ganga, Yamuna, and all these rivers, and they started singing a song that is Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram. Now, if you are trying for exams like AFCAT or CGL or any other exam, favorite question will be who wrote Vande Mataram, which book, so and so. Okay, so here you have to remember Anand Math. Anand Math was the book written by Surendranath Banerjee, and from that book this song is sung, and this was a prayer song in every session of this Indian National Congress. Okay, this was a prayer song for every session in this Indian National Congress. Here the Congress failed in the partition of the Bengal, and people were already saddened by this decision. And now we will move on to the next stage. What happens? Okay, before going to the next topic, what happens? You have to keep in mind. Okay, suppose here this is India, this is Bombay province, this is Madras province, and this is Bengal province. Suppose this year the Indian National Congress decided that there will be a meeting in Kolkata. There will be a meeting in Kolkata. That means in Bengal province, and I need to choose a president for Indian National Congress. Okay, for Indian National Congress. The particular person should not be from Bengal province. If the meeting is in Bengal province, the particular leader should not be from Bengal province. That is a golden thumb rule which Indian National Congress followed from the day one of its formation. That is the reason I told you Vyomesh Chandra Banerjee. Vyomesh Chandra Banerjee was the first INC president. He was from Bengal, but this first meeting took place in Bombay. Okay, the first meeting took place in Bombay. Now, there is an event which is going to shape or change the course of Indian National Congress itself, and this happens in the year 1907. What happens in 1907? The meeting is to be held in Kolkata, but here there was strong bulwark like Lokmanya Tilak and all other leaders, extremist leader. They are going to be standing for the presidency of this Indian National Congress. But in the last moment, before the session, okay, this session was shifted to a place called as Surat. Okay, this place was shifted to a place called Surat. So now what is the situation? The person from this Bombay province cannot take part in the leadership of the or cannot take part in the chairmanship, presidency leader contest. Okay, so here naturally the opportunity for these kind of leaders were snatched away. And here the situation was grim. 1907, the meeting of Indian National Congress takes place in Surat, and this is the turning point in the history of Indian National Congress. On one side, there are supporters of the people, those who believe in prayer, petition, and protest. On the other side, there were people who were supporters of the Lokmanya Tilak and other leaders, those who were not believing in this prayer, petition, protest, because this has already failed to stop Bengal province division. Okay, Bengal partition. Now, as soon as the meeting started, Firoz Shah Mehta, a very respected, a very well known person, an esteemed lawyer who was about to begin the session by his address. He started his session, someone from the crowd threw chappal on his face. And the moment this was done, people here, the supporters of these two groups, they started fighting with one another and it turned out to be a complete chaos. And this situation leads to complete madness and British government sit back, they sat back and they started laughing at this situation. Now here, in order to control this crowd, it was decided from 1907 that Indian National Congress will be divided into two. The first division will be called as moderate and the second division will be called as extremist. Extremist. Now what are the people? Who are the people in moderate? The people those who believe in prayer, petition and protest. And who are the extremists? The people who believe in violence and driving this British away with force. Now, this was going on, and you do please keep in mind that the moment this Indian National Congress got divided, there was an act way back past called as Vernacular Press Act in 1878. Any newspaper or any publishing company publishing a news against the government, the publisher and the press company will be confiscated and the publisher will be sent to jail. As soon as the British government sensed that there is no unity among Indian National Congress, Lokmanya Tilak. Lokmanya Tilak was arrested and he was sent to jail. The moment he was sent to jail, the Indian National Congress got split up and there was no unity among it. After this incident, strong people like Dadabhai Nauroji and all these people, they were already too old and they breathed their last. Dadabhai Nauroji, you need to know some leaders and their contribution in. Are you able to hear me? Hello? Hello? Okay. Sunadia? Hello?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Now can you hear me? Hello? Are you able to hear me all? Please say hi. Hello? Are you able to hear me now? Oh. Hello? Okay. Now, here what happens, you have to keep some things in mind like leaders and their contribution. I will quickly tell some contribution about Dada Bhai Nauroji. Dada Bhai Nauroji. He is called as Grand Old Man of India. Grand Old Man of India. Now, what is the contribution of this grand old man of India? Grand old man, he propounded a theory called as economic drain theory. Economic drain theory. And he wrote, in order to prove this theory, he wrote a book that is called as, very important, Poverty and Un-British Rule. Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. Okay, this is the book written by Dadabhai Nauroji, and he was the first person to say that raw materials were extracted from India, it goes to England and comes back as a finished product. Okay, so and he has written he was a person behind the reformation of INC, like a very important person who was the begin from the beginning of INC. He was supporting for the freedom struggle. Like for example, Swadeshi movement. He was a person who gave the idea that Swadeshi should be our goal. Okay, fine. Now, what happens in 1907? That Surat split, Indian National Congress got divided into two, and then moving on forward, we will go to a year that is 1913. We have a news that is Rabindranath Tagore gets a Nobel Prize. Rabindranath Tagore wins Nobel Prize for literature, and he's the first Asian. He's the first Asian to get the Nobel Prize for literature. Next, in 1915, there is a turn of some events in Indian history. That is, on 9th of Jan 1915, on 9th of Jan 1915, 46-year-old Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, MK Gandhi, or I can say Gandhi Ji. Okay, right now I am not using this Gandhi Ji because I will tell you the moment he was given the title and what are the events he changed in Indian history. 46-year-old MK Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, an esteemed lawyer, a civil rights activist from South Africa, Indian origin, comes to India for a for his political career. But right now you have to keep in mind, before Mahatma Gandhi comes to India, we have Indian National Congress, Hindu Mahasabha, Muslim League. There are a lot of other political parties which await for the arrival of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi because he is a very established, a well-versed, a well-famous person who has fought for the civil rights for the citizens of South Africa. Okay, now they want this man to be the part of their political organization and fight for the freedom of India. Now, the moment Mahatma Gandhi arrives, he decides he is not going to join either this political party. He is not going to join any political party because his way of fight is called as Satyagraha. Okay, Satyagraha. According to him, who is known as Satyagrahi? The person who is called a satyagrahi, he will sacrifice. Okay, he will take pain. He will not harm his enemy. He will not injure his enemy. But he will not kill his enemy or he will not do any force. But he will take pain on him and he will sacrifice a lot. And he will tell the enemy that and on what point he is wrong. Okay, there is a lot of definition of the satyagrahi. We need not go in deep for the serious exam. This is for like civil service examination. Fine. He decides that he's going to have a tour and he's going to look how the Indians are and what way that Indians can be shaped to fight in his way of Satyagraha. He decides to travel India from length and breadth of the country. Now, once what happens, he's taking a tour from North India and is reaching a place called as Madurai down in Tamil Nadu. He's down in Madurai. On his whole journey, he used to focus on khadi and village clothings. Okay, he used to tell that if India wants to be developed, people should use khadi cloth and all those things. He used to tell his on his speeches. One day, Mahatma Gandhi just woke up from his room and he was just watching the river side of Vaigai. There is a river which is flowing in Madurai, that is Vaigai. He saw an incident which changes his life, and this changed his way of life, or I can say that the way he dresses himself the whole life. There was an old lady, and this old lady was washing her clothes. First, she removes the upper part of the sari and she washes that in the river water and dries it for 5 to 10 minutes. She then wraps up that upper part and lower other end of the sari she just washes it and again dries up in the sun and then again she wraps it up. This incident was a changing point for Mahatma Gandhi and he decides the Indian citizens are so poor and he should change his attire. And in one more meeting, when he was addressing the students of this Madurai, some of the students asked him a question. You always focus, or you are a champion in propagating the khadi cloth wearing of the dresses, but you yourself are not following it. So Mahatma Gandhi decided to change his attire. To change his attire. From here, Mahatma Gandhi decided to change his attire, and now the things are going to change. From here, Mahatma Gandhi goes to a place called as Champaran. He goes to a place called as Champaran. Okay, and in Champaran, there is a struggle. Now, what happens here? There is a person called as Rajkumar Shukla. There is a person called as Rajkumar Shukla. A very old man. He requests Gandhiji to visit his village, that is Champaran, and just to check how what are the pathetic condition of the poor peasants in that Champaran village. So now Mahatma Gandhi decides to go and check what is the scene. And here there is a farmland. Suppose if this is the farmland, two-third of the land, okay, two-third of the land, the British government made a rule that two-thirds of the land should be under indigo cultivation, something like that. Now here, this system is called as Tin Khatia system. This system is called as Tin Khatia system. Now Gandhiji decided to fight against it in the way of Satyagraha. Now Gandhiji goes ahead with this and he had the first success. And after that, from this Champaran, he goes to Gujarat again, and here there is a place called as Ahmedabad. There is a place called as Ahmedabad. In Ahmedabad, there is a mill, and in this mill, lot of workers were demanding pay hike on bonuses. Okay, bonuses. The moment the workers realized that Mahatma Gandhi is arriving in Ahmedabad, they asked the guidance of Mahatma Gandhi, and Mahatma Gandhi told a simple idea. Suppose if this is the mill, the workers should all daily come and sit in front of the mill and go for a hunger strike. Suppose if the workers are not working in the mill, the profit will fall suddenly, and the mill owner should confess or should agree to the demands of the workers. So this was the second plan, and there was a second success in Ahmedabad. And from Ahmedabad, there is again one more satyagraha, that is in Kheda. And from this Kheda, what happens? Gandhiji has three success, and this is declared that the champion is back, and he is going to fight for the freedom of India. This three incident creates a big impression in Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, and he gives the title Mahatma to Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma to Mahatma Gandhi. So this is how MK Gandhi was called as Mahatma, and from here on he takes on the struggle forward in Indian history. Please do keep in mind there was one more person called as Jyotirao Phule. Jyotirao Phule. He was the first Mahatma in India. He was the first Mahatma in India. In further classes, I will be dealing with what Mahatma Jyotirao Phule has done. What are the organizations started by him? What are the books written by him? That is all like one by one we'll see. Okay. So this is what Gandhiji did, and slowly we are going to see one by one in upcoming classes. So let us revise the dates and the chronology: 1757 Battle of Plassey, 1764 Battle of Buxar, 1773 Warren Hastings becomes a governor, 1806 we have Vellore Mutiny, then 1848 Lord Dalhousie introduced doctrine of lapse, 1853 the first railway, then 1857 the first revolt of independence, 1858 Queen's Proclamation, 1885 you have formation of INC, then you have 1905 Bengal split, 1907 Suez split, 1913 Rabindranath Tagore gets a Nobel Prize, 1915 you have Mahatma Gandhi coming to India, and 1917 you have Champaran, Ahmedabad and Kheda Satyagraha. In further classes, we are going to watch what happens in 1919, the First World War and its impacts on the other colonized country. Then we will see the Khilafat and Chauri Chaura incident. And after that, we are going to see what happens with civil disobedience movement. Non-cooperation movement is here, civil disobedience movement. Then we will see the first roundtable conference, second and third, and then slowly we'll finish the contribution of INC. In further classes, we will see the social religious movement and the education and the press act. I hope you have learned something from the today's classes. Students, those who are preparing for NDA examinations, CDS examinations, AFCAT, INST, please do subscribe our channel. We are going live every day and clearing your doubts. If you have any doubt, you feel free to ask on 7598486430. Jai Hind, see you next time.